Alright. Welcome. I'd like to call the Selectmen's Meeting of Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 together. Yes, to order. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item is public input, and we have no one here from the public. So we'll move on to approval of minutes. We have minutes from October 21st, 2024.
I didn't see any corrections that needed to happen.
No, I would like to make a note though that the Selectmen's meeting that we had on voting day. Oh, wait a minute, this is October 21st.
Yes, this is.
No, it's November.
Never mind.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 21st.
Second, please.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. And we have minutes from Tuesday, November 5th, Election Day. Okay, I would like to make it a point that we did have Guy Pike sworn in as Selectman Pro Tem, meaning he was appointed in Dave's absence on Election Day. The Selectman Pro Tem on Election Day, I called the New Hampshire Municipal Association, talked to Steve Buckley, and that is strictly for election activities. It wasn't for any non-election activities. So sitting in at the Selectmen's meeting, any vote that Selectman Pro Tem Pike made at the Selectmen's meeting is invalid.
And I think the votes that we took reflect that.
Okay.
As I recall, yeah.
Yeah, because we both voted 2-0. There was no 3-0 votes.
On all the budget.
Yeah.
items.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that we were transparent that his votes did not count.
All right, now I'll make a motion that we approve November 5th's minutes.
I'll be abstaining.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have non-public from October 21st. I'll make a motion to approve these minutes as written.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
And were there no names included? I'm not sure we need to keep these sealed. It's just a policy decision made. There's actually no amounts of money or no names either, so.
Okay, that's fine. Would you like to make a motion to unseal the minutes?
I'm
They
not
weren't sealed.
They weren't
They
sealed.
weren't sealed.
No.
Okay.
You would normally seal them right after the meeting.
Appointments. Police update.
Good evening, all.
Evening, Chief.
Before we move on to the chief, do we have to do anything with this letter from Shigori?
No, that's gonna be in the correspondence.
Alright,
I don't think, I think he's just notifying us of the situation they had at voting day.
So that's an issue
Thanks.
between him and
between him and the
the
clerk.
state election board, or?
No, he called the AG's office and it's really out of our hands.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing in our purview.
Yeah,
The
it's-
town clerk.
Just
God, yeah. Early AG, and
Same.
It's his job to handle, and he handled it.
Yeah.
Evening, Chief.
How are you?
Very well, yourself?
Good, good.
You're gonna join the FBI, is that what you're doing here?
Excuse me?
Are you joining the FBI? No.
That, how can I answer that without making a political statement? I'm not going down that rabbit hole with you. No. So we had a couple call outs for welfare checks throughout the month. I did attend FBI LEADA, the Executive Leadership Institute, for a week, and that was good. In return, in regards to our stats and stuff, I'm not sure that, I think we had, I know that the felonies went up this month compared to last month by a couple. So we went from 17 this time frame last year to 21 this year. Our investigations are almost at par. We're a little low than last year this time, and same thing with calls for service. We're doing our best to build up our directed patrols in the meantime, and I think other than that, everything else has been kind of status quo. Yeah. The sheriff's office helped us by taking a report of a stolen motorcycle from a residence on Mountain Road. This was a locked garage. The lock was damaged. Motorcycle disappeared. The census from the sheriff's office investigator is that, you know, somebody would have probably had to have known the motorcycle was in the garage, that kind of thing. So, what's that?
A thin veil?
So then, on another residential camera on the other side of Mountain Road, we had a thin male walking down the driveway. No reason why they were supposed to be there. Dark colored hoodie. We cannot identify the individual. I cannot say that the two situations are connected. Just making a point there. For the general public, that if they do see anything on Mountain Road or anything else in other areas of town, you know, please call in, because it could be that little piece of the puzzle we're looking for. So I haven't put any picture out or anything like that about that male, just because it's a side shot of a sweatshirt, pants and loafers, and you can't even see the face because the hoodie's over so far. So I really have nothing to go on at this point. Drug take back was Saturday, October 26th, and we collected 6.7 pounds of drugs that were turned in.
6.7 or 6?
I'm sorry, 16.7. I'm sorry.
Is that a lot? It sounds like a lot.
I think, as a general rule, I think it's a decent amount, but to be honest with you, I don't have any data that I could find in the PD anywhere that would give me an idea as to how it was last year or the year before.
This is all prescription drugs? Or just any kind of?
Yeah, no, it would be prescription drugs. We would kind of frown on illicit drugs being turned into the police officer, but
8 kilos.
so anyways, yes, that would be prescription drugs of any kind that somebody just didn't want around. Yep. We handed out candy for Halloween, and it just seemed like this year there was a little bit of a decrease in the amount of trick-or-treaters. Not sure why, but and I gave a conditional offer to a certified officer for the last vacant position. I said once the packet was returned, we actually received it this past week, and this week we'll be starting the background on that individual. And with that being said, Officer Bodette was released from field training Sunday. So his first shift was last night. Quite frankly, I'm very pleased so far, and I don't have any anticipation that it won't continue to be fantastic. So we have him on the road.
Your time frame on this second?
If all goes well, I'd like to have somebody in uniform second, third week of December.
Oh, that quickly,
I'm hoping.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I think with the other officer on and stuff, it will kind of free up Sergeant LaFave for some background stuff if you have to bail out of town, that kind of thing. So I think we'll be able to do that. But what I would like to do is have somebody in that position before we turn to next year as a last resort. Yeah.
Long time
And-
coming.
Yes, long time coming and looking forward to it. Yeah.
And when last we met, I thought we were talking about some equipment that we're gonna try to get onto this year's budget. I don't know if it was uniforms, cameras, I don't know what it was, radios.
Portable radios have been ordered. That was something I cleared with you folks before.
Yeah.
They are ordered. We are waiting for them to come in. I have received the invoice from Ospey Mountain Electronics so that we can pay that on this year's budget. I think that's around 15,003 and some pennies, I believe. So I know that that's outstanding. Ballistic vests were measured. We measured for ballistic vests last Tuesday. Those are in the works of being ordered now. Roughly, it's going to take about 3 weeks, and those will be on this year's budget.
And our hope is that the uniform and equipment for the fourth officer will be on this year's budget as well.
Yes, that's what my goal is going to be.
Okay, 'cause
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
fine there, you've
Yeah.
only spent $1,200 on that $8,000 line item. And
Right.
you're well, you got a $224,000 balance, so I would rather do it this year, personally.
Yeah,
You
no,
guys-
if you can do it,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right. Yep.
And it sounds
Yep.
like that's the target. so.
And then we can kind of standardize 25 budget.
Right, absolutely. I did replace Roberta's computer that went down. I did replace that one, which led me to having a discussion with Tom at Lakes Region Computer. Technically, this year, 2024, was our 5-year window. We should be replacing the rest of them. That means I have 4 in the office left to replace. They're about $1,000 a piece. So that was another option to think about this year as opposed to dragging it out a year and putting it into next year's.
Well, we've
We'll
already
get it from
gone
next
through
year's
the
budget.
Police budget for
Right.
this year.
Right.
Or for next year. So
Yep.
whatever we can push into this year, I think would be handy.
Okay,
Please
is that fair?
Follow through, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. And that'll be one less
Do you need
thing.
a server as well?
No, I put in CIP for a server 5 years down the road. That just was replaced last year.
Okay.
So that's down the road, and that's about an $11,000 expenditure. So anything over 10,000, CIP wanted to see. So I did put that in for them down the road. I do know that Audrey was working on some other stuff, town computer wise. And I'll work with her in the future on whether that includes us or not. But my first step would be to try to upgrade the computers and the PD as well with the surplus we have this year. Yeah, and
Yeah, I think. we
I'm not. I think those were some of the big items that I think.
should- Yeah. I think
were
we
the
need to
issue
get
in
a
question.
an aging schedule on all the computers in town and see how close we could come to actually creating a
Technology budget.
technology category.
Yeah.
So I think that might be,
Well, Tom should have all that.
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
Tom,
he's
he should
up-
have all that.
Yeah,
He's updating it, and he called me while I was on vacation, but I haven't called him back yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should,
So,
we can't do it this year for 25, but we
No.
should be thinking about 26.
sure.
So maybe sometime in the winter we can get him in and we can get a strategery going.
Hmm.
Well,
There should be a separate IT budget.
I
Yeah.
think it would be
Yeah.
helpful.
C just kind of suggests / requires, I'm not sure which word is best to use, that roughly about 5 years for us just to mainly upgrade computers in case there's an upgrade in software, because obviously a lot of the security stuff is based on newer software versus older software, and sometimes there's some incompatibilities there. So if you fit the police into kind of the town thing, that's fine. If not, we can run
We
with the
can
schedule
always-
as needed.
We can always age them out differently, you just
Right.
need to come up with a plan.
Sure,
That's kind of what I was
absolutely.
thinking we can do this winter.
Although it sounds like if we're getting 4 new machines this year, they're all gonna be expiring around the same time whenever that period
Yeah.
comes.
Right,
Right.
but we got all new ones the last time through, so we haven't been able to bridge that scheduling gap.
Yeah, all the computers were purchased in 2019 at the PD
Yeah.
for the work
Mhm.
spaces. Yep. So this year would be it. Yeah. So yeah.
And cameras, body cams, that kind of thing, or car cams, do we have car cams?
So phasing out cruiser video. There is a grant at the state level for, I believe it's 50% of body worn cameras. That's the direction I would like to go. So I presented it to CIP. My understanding last year was Chief Shigori had submitted a body camera type of situation. It was pushed out to this year, mainly because this year they had asked a question that I think Chief Shigori attached an additional administrative person to work with the footage and all the administrative things that go with it. And I don't know that CIP really wanted to formulate another additional person from a personnel standpoint. So they tabled it to this year.
Well, they don't get to decide on personnel,
I get it.
so.
Yeah. So in any case, I would like to see them for 25. I don't know what their thoughts are on it. I'm having a difficult time getting some information from the company because the regional person that was here was there for so long. They're gone. They're trying to get a replacement.
So you don't have any idea of the cost?
I, quite frankly, when I put in for body worn cameras with CIP, I actually utilized what Chief Shigori had for the following year. Speaking to a couple chiefs about the process of footage and what we need to do and all that stuff, they really felt that there was not any type of a substantial markup, if at all, between last year and this year's prices. So I just kind of went with that number.
You
It should figure 5% anyways.
Okay.
I would.
So
Yeah. All right.
just throw me that number, because I don't have that kind of memory.
I believe it was either 34,000 or 35,000
Per or
for
the-
five. For five.
For five?
For four. For 4, 5 years of cloud storage, blah blah blah, because everything will be downloaded off the body cams to the
Hardware is all I'm thinking of.
hardware. There'd be 4 officers.
Oh, and that's not $35,000.
It is.
It's about $8,000 a
For
piece.
4 cameras?
Yeah.
What do you got, about 5 years worth of cloud coverage?
It's
on
a
day one?
in a sense it's like a 5-year subscription
But the-
service kind of deal.
But the subscription isn't paid out over time, it's paid up all up front?
That's the answer I'm trying to get.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. It's my understanding that you can do it in installments or you can do it all at once. And I am not aware, to be honest with you, of whether that 35 was for all at once or whether we would still have to, do it year after year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of unknowns there in that point that I'm still trying to get answers on.
And
So
just because you're on television, the reason to go away from cruiser mounted cameras to body cameras is what?
I would say that it's 2-part, right? The main key is that our cruisers pretty much will show in front of the cruiser and even in a kind of a fisheye kind of thing, almost out to the sides through the windshield. And we have a camera that's in the back seat when we're transporting somebody. Those are what we do for cruiser videos. Is if an officer pulls into a certain location and they get out and they do something off to the side or the back of their car, we have no video whatsoever. If we walk into a house, we should not be, or we can't be audio recording with the mic on us and the video being out in the driveway running, that kind of thing. So quite frankly, I think having body cameras on us so that when we exit the vehicle, we still have that capability wherever we are. I think all of a sudden it's, you'll reduce your liability and you're going to increase your accountability of the officers. And both those are very important to me. So that's why I would like to go with the body cam. Yeah.
Is there more than one provider? I keep hearing about
There-
one provider.
There are a couple different ones. Axon makes Taser, or Axon's kind of the umbrella for the Taser brand Taser that we have. That seems to be a predominant one, and that's the one that we had quoted. There are a lot of administrative things on how they deal with the data of the data and footage, as to how they deal with things, how they can redact things, that kind of deal, that makes it very user friendly when we have to disseminate anything down the road to attorneys, that kind of thing. So that seems to be a predominant one that even people that go to others, they start to sway towards Axon after a short period of
Even
time.
though that may be the direction you're probably gonna end up, it's $35,000 purchase. We need to have more than one
Okay.
company if
Sure.
get some quotes,
Okay.
even if it's only two.
It's a due diligence thing.
Okay.
It's probably an exercise in futility, but it'll satisfy the purchasing requirements.
Okay. Got it.
And is it your intention to purchase another cruiser this year? I keep asking you the
Yes.
same questions over and over again.
Yes, technically the 2017 should be replaced in 25. So that was put into CIP, and their hope, I think, is there's already some.
Yeah, you have 62,000.
Yeah, I was going to say they want to bridge they needed a minimum to bridge the gap between what's in the pot and about 90,000 to get me a new cruiser next year. There was some talk in the meeting I was at about whether or not you just continue to add a little bit more into the pot so that the pot's still there, so you're not just depleting the pot, so to speak, and then trying to build it
I
up
think
for
the
another
number
2
that's
years.
been passed around is 50,000, which is the standard number that we've been putting in.
Yes, right,
So,
right.
and
Yeah.
looking forward, is there another one in 26?
So the next cruiser is a 2020, so that's 28. We should be looking at the replacement.
If we do 50 each year, for instance, in that particular warrant, we should have accumulated enough money to not have any trouble with 28, obviously, even if you're
Oh,
in
yeah.
the agreement.
Yeah. I think if we have 4 cruisers and we're doing an 8-year rotation, every 2 years you get a cruiser. If you put 50 in the pot, that's going to get
That's
me
your
to that 90, 100,000 every year to
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
I
buy.
gotta ask. With only essentially 2 officers this year, you have 2 cruises that really didn't hit the road very much.
Mhm.
Am I correct?
Yes.
They didn't. Do you think we could get another year out of those?
In other words,
Yeah, the 2017, I would say we're not at 100,000 miles yet. It is feasible probably to hold off if you wanted to for a year. But also when I looked at kind of like how cruisers had been jockeyed around a little bit based on other town expenditures. We have a 23, we have a 22, we have a 23, and that kind of thing. So when you start counting 8 years out in a spreadsheet that I did, there's 3 years in a row that if you're going to stick to 8 years, we got cruisers every year for 3 years back in like 2030, somewhere 31, 32, somewhere in there. So in any case,
And
yeah,
even to
we
look
just
at
gotta be
your
careful.
internal equipment on that. I mean, I'm not dissing what the chairman had said, just that
No.
we need to be certain that we get a year out of it, or probably 18 months, because that's how long it'll be before we get another one, so.
My only concern would be is that if I need to, probably my maintenance line item is going to be expended on the 17 and the 20 more than it will be on my newer cars. So that'd be the only option. The only thought that I thought about was if we got one next year, then we have 3 cars that are within warranty still for a little while longer. We didn't need to really think about a huge maintenance budget for next year for contingencies. But yeah, I understand your point. It has been sitting there for a majority of the year. Yeah.
And you still
So.
spent $5,000 on maintenance so far this year.
Yeah.
So,
But that's all of them. The $5,000 you spent on maintenance,
That's every
every
cruiser. Yes, that'd be oil changes. That would be tires. That'd be whatever for everything. But yeah,
So just going on the assumption that we stay fully staffed at 4, is there such a thing as having like a 5th cruiser in the event that one goes down? Is that a thing? In other words, we age out to 2017, right? But we hold on to it. Make a purchase for a new one. We hold on to the 17 in the event. Is that a thing?
that's been a struggle in the past. Is that safe to say?
yes.
Having something sit and not being utilized, then you start thinking about, okay, well now we have to purchase batteries because those went dead.
Yeah,
if we're
sure.
not maintaining
and if the internal equipment hasn't been updated, as, you get new equipment with a new cruiser.
right,
Sure.
yeah,
And the 17, I don't know what the aging of that stuff is or whether it's compatible. We very rarely move anything from one cruiser to a new cruiser, so.
right,
It
yeah.
must age at some rate.
Right, yes. And I think that if a cruiser goes down, hypothetically, you have 3 others that we just are diligent with on officers' days off. We're using their cruiser for the one to be replaced. And so there's some man hours that are,
It's already managed with 4, in other words.
it is. We
Okay.
shuffle around.
That's
Um,
fair.
What
It's just
might be
curious. I was just
helpful,
curious.
though, is if you did a spreadsheet on the aging and how that pushes out into the 2030s, if you could toss a copy our way so we could take a look
Sure.
at it.
I have mileage that we keep account of, and that's pretty easy to do. What I notice is in our programming, police programming in our computers, there's actually a section for keeping data on maintenance, and we've never utilized that before. And that was one of the things that that the CIP thought about was, I think it was Mr. Rorston that asked the question of, and it was a very fair question, do we stay on an 8-year rotation or should we try 6 if maintenance costs are high at the end of its life cycle, and would we get more out of it if we're going to go to bid? And quite frankly, the only thing that I did was I had Roberta set up all the cruisers in that so that we can keep track of what cruisers or what expenditures are going to what cruisers, so that in the future we'll be able to pull that data and have it
I
there.
think that trying to do that in 25, I think, is a reasonable expectation, but trying to look backwards when your staffing level is so low, I don't think it's gonna give you good information. I mean, you really need to go 2 or 3
Right.
years and four total, and then look at the picture and see what's going on. Cause I mean, if your car's sitting here cause you don't have an officer in it, it's not wearing out the tires or, and all the rest of it. So I'm not sure it would be very informative to try to figure out whether to go 6 years instead of 8 based on our staffing level of the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, I researched it. My feeling and my report back to CIP was, as a general census, I found anything from people saying add a mile to every mile traveled because of wear and tear of long idle times, of high-low speeds fluctuating more than the average car. I'm not sure that you could say, okay, we want cars to go at 100,000, so we'll start whittling them away at 50,000. I don't think that's going to work. The other number I saw was roughly about 100,000 miles is when Departments are really trying to do their best to get rid of them, and the Explorer just left us with 106, and that was an 8-year cycle. So I recommended to CIP that we stay on the 8-year cycle until further notice. You
And
know, I
having
mean, I
been
just
in the car business a long, long time ago, it doesn't a police car or a taxi cab, doesn't matter if it's got 50,000 or 100,000, you're just gonna get so much money for it at the end of the day,
that's correct.
And
Yeah,
we don't get a lot of money for them.
right?
no, right,
No.
absolutely.
But back to the beginning of this part of this conversation, because those two have been sitting out there, the 17 and the 20. I think we ought, unless there's a compelling reason to get a new one this year or 25. I think you ought to.
Well,
Look
I
at
think
that.
that's
and
why I asked the chief.
See if we can push it out.
No, to give us that aging report that he constructed to see, because I don't wanna find you in the position in 4 years of having to buy one cruiser every year for 3 years. I mean, having one every other year, I think is more prudent. But that's just me speaking. I mean, you may come up with a short-term savings in 2025 or 2026, but is that just pushing pushing it out 3 or 4 years and then it get bunched up again?
And then the only metric we're using is just an 8-year cycle, whether the vehicle needs to be replaced or not.
Well, I think last year, the year before, and probably the year before that were anomalies, or I hope they are, where we had a really short staff in the police department. Once we're fully staffed, I think then we can take a harder look at it, but I don't know, let's take a look at what the ramifications are if we were to skip this coming year, and what that does down the road, I think. I mean,
You have to look at the big picture. You're right.
I just don't know.
I get it.
and I don't know what, I'll wait until it gives us this report.
We should at least talk about it.
Yeah, and I think we still should plan on funding that warrant article.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we don't fund it for 50 grand, maybe we fund it for 30 grand or whatever.
Oh, maybe we fund it, and if we decide not to buy a car, it's still there, and then,
Oh, yeah.
then the following
It's not like we're
year.
not gonna spend it.
But I don't know what the immediate benefit is, from the standpoint of the warrant article. So, we'll wait to hear from him, he'll come back to us, I can tell, I can see the look on his face.
So, just to be clear, at this point, we don't track what happens from a standpoint of the vehicles being kept up. We don't track tire changes and oil changes and all that. We do them, but we don't necessarily track them.
We pay the invoices. We file them within the
Right.
hard copies of each cruiser. I certainly could pull out each cruiser and start, having Roberta maybe fill out a spreadsheet for the cruisers to give us an idea if that would help. But I mean, right off the bat, my first thought was, let's utilize this software that we already have with this little pull-down menu we've never used, and we can search it for anything in any capacity, and it will print out the data we
And
need
that's
to.
just going forward.
And that's going
Yeah,
forward
and that's
as of
all-
right now.
And I would
Yeah.
encourage
So,
that.
and based on that reason, I just recommended to CIP. I'm not in a position to argue 6 versus 8 years. I don't have the data on the maintenance costs of the last 2 years of each life cycle. So I think it was only prudent to just keep us where we're at.
And
And hope for the best.
And going forward, keeping track of that.
Yeah.
Is that the
Yes.
plan?
Yeah, 3 years from now, you might find out that we should trade it 6 years instead of 8 years.
Maybe perhaps.
You know, you never know, but we
Yep.
don't have the data.
If we don't have the data to support it, and it seems easy enough to track, I would think, especially if the software supports it.
Sure. Yep. Is there any specific data you'd like to see back on the cruisers?
Yeah, you mentioned that you had done some kind of spread on what happens if we skip a year next year.
Okay. Yep.
So just that.
Okay. Something like that.
That's all
Alright.
I'm looking for. I don't know what else Bob might do.
No, I'm just going with the simple thought of, you didn't put 20,000 miles on that car this year.
Correct.
I think we've gained a year. Yes,
understand your
it's gonna
point.
have ramifications at the end. We don't want it stacking up, so we have to get 3 cars
We don't
3
know.
years in a row.
It may not be as bad as we think it is, or I think it is.
But getting rid of a car at 90,000 miles, that doesn't seem responsible. I think we should be able to get
110?
a little bit more out of it.
Yeah, the
Well, how
projection
many-
is about anywhere, depending on how often we use it and in what capacity, anywhere from 13 to 19,000 a year will be on a cruiser. That's the rough projection. The chief's car might be at 13. You might have patrol that are at 19.
But you can also
You
see
know, so,
trends. You can see
yeah.
maintenance trends. If you're not spending, you get new vehicles, you're not spending a lot of money on maintenance.
Correct.
But as they get older and start getting miles, if you're starting to spend a lot of money in maintenance, that's a good time to get rid of them.
Sure, absolutely. Yep. And I think that's why the questions came up.
And that's good data.
Yeah.
Maybe having if you know what you spent in maintenance per car, that's probably a good piece of data. In 2022 you spent this amount on this car. 2023 you spent this amount. That way we can start seeing the trend.
Sure.
That might be good data to have.
Okay.
There you go, chief.
Got it.
Stop patrolling and put some reports together.
All right.
But I think just in a general sense, I think that the status of the police office is improving. I
Absolutely.
see an improvement in the staff's willingness to do a lot of different things that are important. And we also have Ashley who can help.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Can't take her
Anything
away
else?
from me.
Nothing from me. If you guys have anything else.
Guys, good.
So,
I'm good.
All right. Thank you for your time.
thank
Steve.
you. Appreciate it.
Next is fire.
Are you crying
I'm
fire?
not yelling fire.
Is this a movie theater?
All right. Evening, Chief.
Evening.
I'm just gonna interject right away. I think, the budget committee asked the selectmen to review the fire department's budget. And there isn't a need to do that unless you really want to revisit it, but you did take a vote on what you had thought.
They asked us to review and reconsider.
Reconsider.
To
Yeah,
what
I
end?
don't-
So, and we'll get to that. We'll let
Okay.
let the chief give his
Okay.
monthly report first.
Was there any questions as far as what you had read, or if you had the opportunity to read it?
On the report, no, I
Yes.
didn't get those till this morning. So I
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to look through it.
Run over by a truck, Jesus.
That was a person taking a boat out and thought he had put it in park because the wind had taken the boat, and when he got out, the door was open. He dropped to the ground, and the truck ran over his leg. But he was very lucky in that
Anything
case.
broken?
No,
Wow.
not that he didn't go to the hospital, and signed off there at the scene. We were able to pull the truck out quickly with the trailer so that there's no oil
Yeah, right.
spills and stuff like that.
Yeah, good.
But it definitely was submerged as far as it goes. So we're at 658 calls for the year. Last year at this time we were at 507. With the inspections we're at 176. Last year at this time we were at 115. So obviously we're moving along. We've surpassed the highest call volume that we've had was 641 calls in a year. So we still have a couple months left to go along with that.
272 firefighters.
And when as far as fire calls, that's hazmat incidents, that's fire calls, fire alarms, anything to do with the fire department going out with that. The EMS calls is strictly medical calls.
So then how do we do, so what are the service calls?
Service calls could be anything from a lift assist, as
Oh.
far as you have a sick patient, you know, they came home, they can't get back into their house without assistance type of thing.
Oh.
You know, they went to the hospital.
So that
They
doesn't
don't-
fall under medical though?
No,
Okay.
no, that is a,
I was just curious.
basically you're not responding out there with lights on. It's something that they may give you a call ahead of time,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
type of thing.
What's that?
Any old firefighter can do that. You
Right.
don't need to be an EMT, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to be EMT to touch the people. So, or, you know, someone got locked out of their house. The house is flooded somehow by broken pipes or something
Cat
like
up a
that.
tree.
We try not to do cats up the tree unless they were like there for several days. But a lot of times they're so high up that you need a tree person to actually go up, and the cats are not very happy when you get to the up there to
So I
do
was thinking I
that.
was
They keep
lucky
going
when
up
you
and up
showed
and up.
for my cat.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah. Well, and there's many other things that go along with the service call stuff. Do you have anything that you want me to answer as far as the updates? As far as facility wise, the cracks had been sealed at Central Station. The highway department did make it there with the crack sealer, and we have an estimate for that that was provided, and it was about a little bit higher than the estimate that the company, original company, had provided, but that was a couple years old as far as it goes. So it was good to get it done and get it all situated as far as it goes. So I assume that Jim will give us a bill for what is needed to take care of that. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. The Central Station door locks and for the rear door on the gear room and the hazmat room, that has been finally completed after a couple years. The project kind of like dragged on and hadn't got completed, so it went from year to year, but that's all done now, and we can get in and out of those doors without any issues now, which is great. And I haven't got a bill on those yet, but I'm sure that that'll be coming right along. Central Station front door failed as far as the locking mechanism on the door, and that was taken care of by night security. That was $90. That's not in this actual item. We had a proposal for $2,445 from Hampshire Fire Protection in Londonderry to come out and take care of some repairs for the sprinkler system. That was put off for 2024 because we don't currently have the money to take that. That is in 2025's budget.
Is it, I mean, what kind of repairs?
So
They're not life safety?
it's not a life safety thing. It's actually a more of a code thing, but there are some gaskets that need to be replaced and a couple other items with the sprinkler system that it's not going to cause the system to fail currently. Some gauges that have to be replaced every so many years and things like that. So I think that they can wait until 2025 unless we find the money somewhere else in the budget.
Well, did you, you've got some, how about your boat expenses? You've got a little bit of money in your
Yeah, boat expenses that'll be gone as soon as the boat comes out of the water. Everything gets done. That's a end of the year thing, and a matter of fact, I might be a couple dollars over on that once it comes out.
between, fire station improvements and central fire department maintenance, you've got $4,000.
I got bills that are
Okay.
already taken that.
So you don't think that you can
Uh,
bring it out this year?
I'm thinking it's going to be very tight if that was the case, and it would go over.
Okay.
Alright.
So, It just, it's a item that we weren't expecting
Mm-hmm.
as far as, usually they're able to tell us, anything, but we went through a complete system, they opened up everything for every
The 5-year
5-year
inspection.
test, and that's when they found, there were some changes in codes that require a couple things that we don't have. So we're trying to get everything back up to
Your
do that.
training line is looking pretty good. There's $7,800 in there. You're only at 37%.
Right, but it's a different budget. It's a fire side of budget instead of government buildings. Does
Mhm.
that make a difference?
Chip, we've.
Well, I mean.
I've never-
I'm only dealing with government buildings, so I don't know, I didn't look at where are we on the fire department? Well, you still got. You still got you've got $100,000 worth of expenses and $112,000 worth of money. So I don't think the fire portion of the budget has room for what he wants to do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't, I know that some of the lines say they have whatever amount of money, but
Mm-hmm.
it comes out towards the end of the year. Some of
Have
the
to
bills
ask.
haven't, oh yeah, almost definitely. Most
If
definitely.
there's a way to do it this year,
Yeah,
it's perfect to see that.
And by all means, if that's something, because we're trying to track everything,
Mhm.
if we see that we can get some of it done, then we'll do it if it's okay with the select board as far as that goes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a lot more in the government buildings left either.
Right. Between electric bills and all
Yeah,
that different
everything.
stuff.
All added together is working on I've got it in front of me. You're on a $12,000 turn, so you've got $24,000 left. You got 34 in the bank, so you're gonna have a $10,000 surplus,
Right.
which isn't. That's kind of.
It's not a lot.
Not a lot.
On 155,000, it's not a lot.
No.
Right. I know that this time last year, we had like a spare, we had a spare pump that was circulator pump that was sitting on the shelf and things like that. We used it this year. So we don't have anything in reserve
But if it
anymore as
were,
far
just
as
so
it
you know,
goes. So.
if this were a life safety issue, we
Yes.
still have some money in our contingency.
Okay.
So,
No, we're trying to stay within
yeah.
everything. If it was something that I felt was really dangerous, then
If it was a
Then-
life
then we'd
safety
come
issue, I'd
forward.
be asking you to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, walk me through, or walk us through this.
Okay, so the budget committee has asked us to reconsider the fire department's budget.
So basically what I had done is that when we met with you, the call firefighters was changed to 88,000. The first responder team was changed to $6,363, and overtime was cut down to 35,000. What I had done is cut the overtime to 29,500.
Mhm.
The vehicle expense from 56,480 to 52,000, hoping that we didn't have so many repairs and things in the coming year. And training went from 13,000 to 12,000 dollars, which cut by 1.6%. They were looking for 1.5%, which brings it down to 3.7% as far as our increase for the year. So that's $687,019 versus
Yeah, that's.
$697,999.
So the 1.6 that I'm seeing are you looking at the same sheet? This one?
This is
Yeah.
ours,
Okay.
yeah.
So the 1.6 is just this reduction that you
Yes,
worked on?
that is correct.
Okay. So it's essentially $10,000, 9,000,
$10,980.
Just short of 11.
no, it's not 10,980, is
Yeah.
Yeah,
it? Yeah, it is.
10,980.
10,980.
There it is.
And the part I don't understand is the general government buildings, that just stays the same, is that what we're looking at here?
You haven't even gone over that with me yet.
Oh, okay, okay.
So nothing has changed.
Nothing's happened.
That's a total different budget. Emergency management was a different budget, and ambulance was a different budget.
But we did emergency management.
Yeah.
Right.
And ambulance.
Yeah, the ambulance is just the contract, right?
That is correct.
Alright. So, the question is, this is the budget as you've reconstructed it here.
Correct.
That you wanna bring before the budget committee,
Yes.
okay? Cause we already voted on a budget.
Right.
I mean, my position is, we voted, we knocked you up a little bit, and that's all we're gonna do. If the budget committee is gonna create their own set of rules as far as your budget's concerned. And I think they have, and that's why you went through this exercise.
Right. I think that from listening to the select board, as far as saying that if we do run into an issue, there is a contingency. Whether that contingency is all spent because of whatever happened during the year, I guess that's the chance that we're taking. But we're trying to work with the budget committee to get to the point of what they requested.
Yeah, and as long as it makes sense. I mean, they're gonna put a budget together that they think makes sense, and that's what budget committees
Right.
do.
The whole overtime thing,
Yeah,
we're like 1 year into having 2 people, so I don't know if we can, if we end up with a firefighter, if that's gonna drop things down,
right.
other people are gonna be making less overtime and things like that. We're hoping so.
But on this hours worked chart that you did, is that the actual total hours including overtime? It must be.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we already dropped you down $7,000,
Right.
and now you're going in an additional $5,500 for overtime.
But the whole, I guess the linchpin in the thing is, if there is a full-time firefighter that starts in July, will that person take up some time that other people don't have to be there working overtime type of thing? It all depends on how busy the time period was. If you look at the charts, you can actually see that different times where the guys have obviously been working more time because things were busy, or whatever was going on at that point in time, or someone was out, injured type of thing. Someone's going to take up the time period. So, for example, right now, as far as with Captain Morgan being gone for 3 weeks, either myself or Captain Pike or someone else in the department, as far as call members, are filling in as far as shift wise, and taking up time wise that he might be, like if he was the officer on call for the weekend. Fortunately, that's not the case until he comes back, type of thing. But someone would have to take that time up. So you would see a little bit more in overtime and things like that.
Right.
But with me, no, because I'm salary. So
Well, I'm showing a 3.6% budget year over year, just on the fire.
mm-hmm.
Is it what you're showing? I think it is.
Yeah, it's about
Okay.
right.
So, I have to ask the tough question.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming in, you're on board with this reconsideration.
Yes.
How come we didn't get a budget that was $11,000 less?
Because that's what we felt as far as the numbers that we gave you. Obviously, the budget that we came in with before is what we felt, and then you made whatever cuts.
Mhm.
I think that it's, you know, it's taken a chance in some cases, but not having another full-time person, I don't know where we're going to be at with overtime and things like that. So that's the most logical place to make that cut as far as the different things. My other numbers, I have backup information, obviously, for most of those. And besides that, when, you know, something goes wrong or someone...
And the spread, just to defend the chief a little bit, was only $13,369
Mhm.
between
What he presented and what we cut.
right.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get
So it
that.
isn't as if he came in with $100,000 worth of fluff.
No.
And we did our job, and now he's gonna give the budget committee a $10,000 or $15,000 gift.
No, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The work that the chief and his team does putting his budgets together is phenomenal. They're the best in the town. He does great work. His number, he can identify everything in his budget. I commend you highly for that.
Is there some days that I'm nervous because I feel that we're really close on things, or again, with the call force, I find it tough because I may have some people that are here for whatever period of time, and then something happens to them, and so I use up whatever amount of money, and then they're gone for a period of time, or they might be back for a period
So
of
you're
time.
you're extending a certain amount of risk by asking us to reconsider.
I mean, how do you know? You know, I can look at the the vehicle maintenance and see that, you know, one year I budgeted 50,126. You know, the next year it's 56,480. And when you start looking at the different use, it all depends on what happened that year as far as it goes. A lot of the figures are somewhat fixed in vehicle maintenance and stuff like that. But so like this year coming up, $6,600 is going to be just in tires for one truck, type of thing. So that's
a 24
that
or in 25.
that'll be a 25
'Cause
thing,
right
unless
now-
we can, unless we have the money left that we can do it in 20.
Right now, in
24.
maintenance, you got $13,700
Right.
left, so you might wanna take a look at that.
Yep.
And see if you can do
If we
some
can
of
do that.
And maybe half of them. I mean, we're only talking, and this is kind of the frustration that and hopefully someone else will do it some other year. The frustration I have with the budget committee is you go through this whole process, and the net savings is $24,000, and a significant portion of that is what the chief just gave us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on a $700,000 budget, I don't see that as a real move. I mean, I guess they feel like they're doing their job. I hope they're watching tonight, because I think it's gonna take more than that to adjust things if they wanna adjust things.
It's kind of what I'm saying is at the end of the day, it's not a lot of money.
No.
But
it's really kind of about principle. I mean, we've already
It's
approved.
always about the money.
We've already approved his budget as presented. This was his ask.
Right.
The budget committee has asked him to take a little bit more of a risk, and he has.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is accepted, I am going to come back and say, you know, if something goes awry,
Right, which you
this
should.
is what was said.
Yeah, which you should.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
the highway department.
Right.
You know, we're never gonna get 100-year storms again,
Oh, we're
and then
going
we got
to.
'em
Right,
the next year.
Right.
So it isn't as if it hasn't happened.
Yeah, the storms are not going to go away.
Right,
They're going to be worse, if not,
yeah.
and more.
so
No,
having,
How do we know that?
Just.
yeah,
No, I mean,
That's just because you know,
trending,
trending, you know, as far as countrywide, you're seeing that they're saying that the storms are getting
I'm surprised
worse.
that there was only one forest fire on your sheet of your report.
Right.
I mean, all it takes is one hunter deciding he's gonna
Oh yeah.
cook a squirrel.
It,
and
it,
then-
it's just a matter of, I mean, the fires have been happening all around us
Yeah.
as far as that goes, and we've been
'Cause
going
it's
to
been dry out
to
there.
different places. Like we went to Bear Island for that forest fire and stuff like that. But some of the different places included houses and things like that, so they're not necessarily classified as
Right.
as a forest fire type of thing. But yeah,
so basically, knowing that we have a contingency, this is what's giving you the comfort to come in and ask
correct.
for another $11,000. And you're comfortable with that?
I think that we've ran the department for long enough to be able to go through and see most of the line items and be able to do that. There's probably going to be something that happens that will be out of our control as far as it goes, but
Well, that'll be a learning lesson.
yes.
That happens.
I think that we can get cut down to so bare bones that there is no wiggle room in that, and that worries me as far as you know, where the bigger items are going to come from if something happens. But I think that we're in pretty good shape overall.
So, I'm gonna suggest that we don't change our numbers. We already voted on the fire budget, I don't know that we need to agree with the, in fact, I think it's less informative if we do agree with the budget committee. I mean, we establish a budget premised upon our experience of actually operating the town. They do it based on some clerical notion. So, the only way that we're gonna be able to illustrate to them if something does happen is if we show them the budget that we approved. Same thing's happening currently with the highway department. They wanted to reduce that in 24 from the 23 level, and now we've got portions of it that are upside down. If we had agreed with their budget numbers for 24, we wouldn't have that comparison, that's all I'm saying.
Well, we're gonna, if we don't reconsider, we're gonna be going into town meeting with a budget that's different than
What we did last year.
It
I
should.
mean, it's always different, the budget committee decides they wanna put whatever number they wanna put up. We don't have any control over that, they're an elected
Mhm.
budget committee, if they were an advisory budget committee, we could tell them to go stay at home, but that's not what we have.
So this exercise would only be showing that we've folded to the budget committee's request.
Yeah, well, not, I suppose you could say it that way, but what it would be doing was eliminating what our best estimate of expenses are gonna be versus what their best estimate
Mhm.
is. And I always find that illustrative of different situations happening. I mean,
We don't-
I
we
firmly
don't-
believe that the number we haggled out with the chief was the right number.
I do too.
So I think knowing that, I would, if you wanna call a vote on reconsideration, call it, but I'm gonna vote no. Just so you know.
We don't have to agree with the budget committee.
No, we don't. And they don't have to agree with us.
Right.
I mean, that's the system that we have in place. So,
I just didn't see the if they're in charge of the budget as far as that goes, why didn't they take responsibility for whatever cuts that they were looking.
Well, I
To
think they're
do.
looking for advice from you. They don't wanna make just, like Gene Chandler would say, cut $100,000
Right.
out of the budget and never tell you where
Mhm.
to take it from. They wanted you to be specific in what you felt.
But they
comfortable.
seemed like that they wanted you to take responsibility for doing that.
No, when do you ever go to town meeting?
Yes.
I know you do, every year. And when we get to the last article, it is the budget committee's budget.
Budget.
So it's their budget that we vote on first. If the voters decide they don't like that, then we vote on the selectmen's
Correct.
budget. So,
I'm not gonna make a motion for reconsideration, but I'll entertain one.
No, I have no interest.
yeah. You already know where I'm at.
Okay. All right.
Next topic for our chief who's here tonight, airboat.
Airboat? Yes.
Airboat? Are people dying on the lake because our airboat's breaking, or what's going
No,
on?
the airboat has reached its life
Oh,
expectancy
Okay.
as far as that goes, and it is not. People are not dying on the lake because of that. That was one of our with our association. It's what came out in the letter as far as for us to put money towards the whole project. Obviously, last year we received a trailer to put the current airboat on and to fit a new one when it gets to the time period, so we won't have to spend $15,000 on a trailer. That'll fit the current unit with some changes. But
So are we looking for an airboat in 2025?
yes,
Okay, so
that's correct.
when we did it last time, there was a significant amount of money that came out of the firefighters.
There was, well, I wouldn't say significant amount of money, but there was a percentage, and we're looking to do the same.
Okay, so before we get to that portion of the warrant, can we get a firm number on what this boat will cost?
Oh, yeah.
And what you
Yeah.
feel that you can raise?
Yeah, we already know what the boat will cost. I don't have it here with me tonight, but we know the estimates as far as the boat type of thing.
You had put in 175 to CIP with approximately
Right.
50,000 from the association.
Right. And that may be a little less as far as with pricing that we had got back. So that's the tough thing with trying to project out for whatever period of time. I know that Fish and Game replaced their boat within the last year, and theirs is the same age as our boat currently as far as it goes. And we're looking to probably do about the same type of platform as far as that goes. I mean, you can go anywhere from, you can go up to a
$1,000,000.
$300,000 for something like that. That's
So
enclosed and
was there a
stuff.
state bid?
I don't know if there was a state. I don't think that there's necessarily a state bid for them. It was, they put it out to bid for, and I think Diamondback was the company that came back with that they chose. So,
Okay, so
but we've already gone. The guys have gone up to look at it and go through the whole process, and it seemed to be a pretty comparable boat, and it has flotation versus the boat that we currently have
which is just-
does not have flotation.
Right.
It's not made to go in like the lake and things like that. It can sink, obviously, if something goes wrong.
And how many, you said the state's got one of those now?
Yes.
What other towns have them?
So other towns, comparable boats, there's none.
Okay.
There's a smaller one in Alton that was donated to their department, and then they spent whatever amount of money to bring it up to standards. West Ossipee has like a 14-foot river rat. They were the first agency in the state to have an actual airboat type of thing. And they came here, mutual aid, when we had an island fire, went back and forth across the, the ice and open water 43 times to put out an island fire that we had in 2004. And you probably know that very well, because we had some disagreement back and forth of whether or not we needed an airboat at that point in time. Right. So, but
Yeah, and it's still, so it isn't me disagreeing with you.
oh no, but as far as there was questions.
Me having to explain to people on the street.
Yep.
Or at town meeting or wherever, why are we the guys with the airboat?
Right.
And
But there are other areas that, like Molten Brill was donated to hovercraft.
yeah,
That has its limitations as far as it goes. Personally, I would take the airboat over anything right now as far as that is out there as far as it goes. We're looking at staying within the 18 feet that the current airboat is, because we feel that if we go up to the 20 foot, there's some protective cages and stuff that make it into like 22 feet, and that's a little big for what we have to do as far as maneuvering and things like that. So the Fish and Game unit is a 20-foot boat, and with a little bit bigger length in the long run, but
okay, so
overall,
moving on from the airboat, which obviously has
Yep.
to go on 25. The fireboat is, what's that do?
the fireboat is, I don't know if I have that with you. We did actually, I was thinking that was out somewhere around like 2030.
Okay.
Is that boat one or boat two?
Boat one.
Boat one,
Do you actually have the?
2038.
Yeah, so that's a ways out.
2038.
Yeah,
20 years.
20 years.
All right.
Yeah, we got that in 2008.
So that's a 20-year item. I don't think your outboard's gonna last 20 years.
Oh, I'm not saying that it won't need to be repowered
Yeah.
within that, and that's 50 grand easily as far as to be repowered and stuff like that. But that's something that we would, obviously
looking
bring
for a-
before the budget. Yeah.
Going for $125,000 more or less this year for airboat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other item was a compressor, the SCBA compressor, which we have a certain amount of. I think there was like $15,000 left in the SCBA line,
Right.
so we would be looking at whatever it is to make
Was
up
it
that
60
amount.
grand, I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was 15 or.
So
in addition
check
to
with the
the
state
15.
and see if it was a state bid, because that might
Yeah.
save us a little money.
Okay.
And then, obviously, when you come in, bring us one or two or three, just so that we know you've actually looked around. I don't
Right.
want you falling in love with a Corvette.
Oh, we haven't. Those are like $300,000 plus. They're enclosed, but I don't feel that it is the machine
That you need.
that we need
Right.
to operate
But if
here.
some other company has a similar size that you need.
Yep.
I mean, just like buying a fire truck.
Sure.
It's the same idea.
Yeah. No, they've done that exercise, so that's
Good.
Well, if we can be purchased on the state bid list, that qualifies as satisfying our
Yeah.
purchasing
Right.
requirements.
Yeah, although I don't know what the state did either.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't
But it'd
remember
have to be an equivalent
on what
unit.
item.
we could call our state representative, but they don't talk to me, maybe you could call.
Yeah. No, we work closely with Fish and Game as far as that goes, and I'm sure that they have no issues with telling us as far as
Oh,
if
yeah,
that
it's
was
all
a,
public information.
yeah,
so-
it's all public.
Okay.
All right.
At some point in time, I may have a personnel item that I need to talk with you, but I don't need to do that tonight as far as it goes. I don't feel, but just make contact with Audrey.
But we're not meeting again for 2 weeks. so-
Okay.
But she wants us to meet again next week.
Oh, we're not meeting again until next week.
That's the vibe that I got earlier.
But if that comes to fruition, then I'll
Yeah, just let her know.
let you know. I don't want you to be
It's
surprised.
not an emergency.
Not necessarily. It's not going to. I just don't want you to get information off the street that
Right.
you're surprised by.
Okay.
So
If that's the case, then let's get it on sooner rather than later.
if you
Yeah, right, just won't go out on the street.
You'll be at the next meeting, whatever it is.
yes, 100%.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have anything further as far as
No,
budgets or anything like that?
no.
If you have any questions as far as the government buildings,
We're
please.
gonna do government buildings when?
Hopefully next week.
okay.
Next
Okay,
week.
Next week, we're gonna do government buildings?
Yeah.
I'd be okay with having an executive session. but
That's
we're
what
not-
I'm saying, yeah.
And that's when I have a full-blown meeting.
Yeah. I can arrange that.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can discuss that when we're doing select, but we don't have to.
Well, thank you for your time with,
Thank you,
with
sir.
reviewing
Thank you.
everything.
Thank you.
Jamie. Yeah.
That's why you say chief.
I know, right? I would've gotten it right in both cases, right?
Exactly.
Yep. Alright. Next is the consent calendar.
I think the transfer station was closed out at last
Are
minute.
we gonna walk through the transfer station, or what are we gonna do? I mean, we gotta do something.
If you wanna wait till I'm up at the table, we can go through some of it.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to vote on it tonight, but we should at least start the discussion, see where it goes. Let's,
But he said he's ill tonight, so nothing we want. And so he's willing to come in next week, that's why I was proposing.
alright, well, let's,
I'm missing a really good rock concert.
what are you missing?
It's fun.
Oh, my grandson's playing in a bar up in.
Oh, hell,
but I don't-
that's worth going.
Yeah, I thought.
Let's all go. Is it
I
tonight?
know, let's go. What time?
We gotta do this.
Alright, consent calendar. In this week's consent calendar, we have the solid waste contract with Waste Management. We have a yield tax levy for map 41-146 and a yield tax levy for map 41-114 and 2 rights of burial. I think the highlight in this is the Waste Management contract.
And how did that change, or did it change?
It's approximately 7% higher than last year.
And this is a 5-year contract. And I didn't see any,
So the 5th year of the last contract was this year?
Yes.
Yes? Was it a burn?
And is there percentage increases on each year, or is it just 7% flat across
I
the
didn't
5?
see percentage increases per year.
Yeah, it was just one price.
Yeah, I haven't read it, so I don't know.
What was there was there a blanket justification for it, like fuel or something like that, or?
I don't know.
Just curious.
Well, one thing and we should, I'm not ready to sign it tonight, I think we should read it, because one thing that they did last time
Mhm.
was throw in an escalation clause for fuel. that was-
They have that in here too, this
was
one.
automatic. And-
Yeah. And I was
and
gonna,
we gave them a 3% gift during COVID, because
Right,
they
Mhm.
were
because of,
going bankrupt,
yeah.
right, they begged and pleaded. Yeah, there is an escalation in here.
yeah. So can we,
So did you not get copies? You tabled it last week, so, or did you not receive? or
I
2 weeks ago, so did you not receive copies to review?
I didn't.
I did.
Okay.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I got you sent it out in an email.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't print those. Jesus.
I got it.
Okay, did you read it?
But I did
I'm
read
sure
it.
you did because you're
Yeah, yeah,
quoting it.
But there is an escalation per year.
Okay.
But if you haven't gone through this, you
Yeah,
need to.
let's see, if we're gonna meet again in an executive, if you wouldn't mind, Bob.
No, I don't mind.
Okay,
I don't mind. I don't think.
it's not too much.
I don't think it's. I don't think we have a time crunch. Well, I eventually we'll have a time crunch, but
Right,
Before end of calendar year.
yeah, in the calendar year. So I think we
and
can.
we need to, even though Chris is on death's door, we need to ask him if there's any sort of change in the number of containers he's shipping and that sort of thing. So,
Well, yeah, and according to him, he's been shipping more containers. He's been
right,
utilizing more. So he's got to be part of this discussion too.
right, okay,
So
thank you.
all right. So we're taking.
Table.
We're tabling the solid waste contract, so we're gonna be
And I'll
voting
make a
strict.
motion that we sign the balance of the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Action items. The Lakes Region Technology Center is asking permission if they can have a group of students come in here and help people transfer their trash from car to building and recyclables and whatnot on Saturday, December 28th from 8 to 12.
November, right, or December?
December 8th?
No, there's two dates here. November 30th from 8 to 12 and December 28th from 8 to 12. I think it's a great idea. My only concern is liability.
That's what I was wondering.
I asked them that they have their own insurance and they'll have waivers. So,
Signed by all the parents and whatnot.
I just run it by
Or whatever.
Primex to make sure that we're not. I mean, we have to let them know anyway if something happens, but
So what's the gist is that,
it's a fundraiser, so hopefully you'll,
They're looking for donations.
yeah, they'll receive donations, tips for, taking your Thanksgiving and Christmas garbage out of your car and into the
okay,
The
container.
idea is that you can sit in the car and let them do the thing. Of course, I'd have to get out and say, no, you can take that and that. That one's got to go over.
yes, same.
So, no, I think it's a great idea. I just want to make sure that, and I'll vote in favor of it once I know that Primex is okay with it.
Okay,
So let's table this until next meeting.
okay.
Of course, when is the next meeting?
Well, that's
we
what,
haven't decided yet.
if we have one next week.
Today is the 19th, so they really have to, and they want to do this on the 30th. We really need to vote on this tonight.
Vote on what?
So you could
On
do a
this.
vote contingent. on-
Contingent, yeah. I'll make a motion that we approve the Lakes Region Technology Center taking junk from one's trunk program with the condition that Primex is okay with the liability concerns.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Let's see, we have we have one budget worksheet in here.
We tabled other conservation last week as well.
So you want us to approve this budget tonight?
Well, I don't know why you tabled it, so if you had questions, if
Why do we table it? It's other conservation, 4619.1. It's other conservation.
Other
Agricultural Commission, Milfoil
Right.
Committee, and
Oh,
Forestry
Forestry.
Service. Yeah,
I
we
know
can
why
table
we
it.
tabled it,
Why do we table it?
because we don't have an adequate explanation of the milfoil, which we are over on the
this
current.
happened last year as well, and when Mr. Markison gives me the bills, I pay them, and then at the end, he's like, well, these are getting reimbursed by the state, these go to the expendable trust fund. So he will never be over. He has, I think there's like 41,000 in the expendable trust fund right now from milfoil. So whatever the state's not reimbursing, I'll get from.
So essentially that line's an in and an out.
Well,
No,
no,
operating of 5,000, it'll not be more than that. So if you look at the actuals year to date,
it's $18,027.
right, so
How much of that is coming back in?
Sounds like 13,000 is coming back.
yeah, and he'll probably have another invoice, cause they all come in at the end of the year. So
So,
I sent him an email today
I
saying,
mean, it just seems like a really inefficient way to run a business.
it is annoying.
So you leave it at 5,000 and we do the same thing run over next year and then get reimbursed?
Yeah, and it won't be over in a couple weeks, I sent him an email saying what goes where in the future, tell me if it's state reimbursable or if it's,
Oh, okay, so this has been tabled, I'm gonna make a motion that we table it again. We need to have a number that's actually gonna end up on the bottom line. So let's say they end up spending $18,000 and we get 15,000 back. So it should actually only be 3,000, not 5,000 on that line, that's all I'm saying. You know, we should be closer to what the reality is. I don't have the 20,
So basically, it's too much of a swag.
it just doesn't make any sense,
Some wild
I don't know,
guess.
leave that up to you guys.
Motion's been made, I'll second for discussion.
4619.
well, I think it's the way it's always been.
4619.1.
Yeah, got it. Maybe I've got some history.
Yeah,
I'll
we should
look.
have history, you have 5 years in your books.
Okay, 5-year expenditure, milfoil joint board, 750 and 19, 0, 20, 0, 21, 0, 22, 0, 23. Milfoil, yeah, 750 and 19, and all the other years are 0.
I don't know exactly how he interfaces with the state.
Okay, so there are 2 lines on 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23.
Mm-hmm.
So Tuftonboro Milfoil Control whatever the hell that is.
Contamination.
Okay, 19 it was 5,049, then it went to 10,242, then 5716, 4150. Or 4550, I'm sorry. So, what's a good number? How much is in the milfoil? You don't know what's in there.
The expendable trust fund,
Yeah.
over 40,000.
So why are we putting anything in there?
Yeah, why don't we put $100 on that line and just play it out and see what happens?
I was gonna read the warrant article because the way the trust fund is written is that it implies to me if it's for major cleanup. So,
Oh, it's only when we do a major cleanup that comes
I
out of
don't
there?
know, I haven't read how it's written, but we did use a little of it last year.
Even more reason to table it.
I'm
Do you
thinking
want me to
table
invite
this.
Bill Markison in?
Yeah,
Cause I don't quite get it all.
yeah,
Yeah, and
I think that's a good idea.
I know Bill Marcus, and when he explained it to me the last time, I didn't get it.
But I've never had an
I'm hoping
explanation.
you're better at getting it than I am.
Okay.
I've never had an explanation, so let's.
Oh, there, maybe you'll get it. 'cause
Mhm.
I-
Have you had an
I
explanation?
have not, but
Okay, so it's
short timer.
3 of you, and I'll
Okay.
just be stupid
Alright,
one out.
it'll be tabled again.
We're still gonna go over the solid waste though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there was one more thing.
One more
Yeah.
thing in the action item folder. I had asked Steve to show us the deed. Apparently, on the new owners of the Chandler property have indicated that they want to restrict hunting on the property, and they have the right to. It's in the deed. So nothing we can say. If he wants to
And that's the
restrict hunting,
excuse me.
conservation easement.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
So if he wants to restrict hunting, he can restrict hunting.
See how far that goes. All the deer come to my house anyway, cause they know I don't have a gun.
Let's find the pacifist.
Correspondence. We have a note from Andy.
Yep.
It's just a simple note about a miscommunication at election day. Board of Adjustment having hearing Tuesday, November 26th. Another note from Board of Adjustment that they're having a hearing on November 20th. Library. We have a copy of the library's monthly update. And they appear to be in line.
On track.
Audrey, did you have a comment about the library?
I'm gonna ask you to revisit the budget when I get up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, let's keep that aside. We have wetlands permit by notification.
You have 3 of them.
1, 2, 3 wetlands permits by notification. Okay, and we have some non-public minutes which we'll do at the very end. Okay, so let's see. Town administrator and selectmen's update.
There it is. Thank you. I finally found it.
Okay, sure.
That's what I get for getting here last minute.
I try to put things in your package in the order that you're gonna see them.
Yeah, and I just, yeah.
So first on the library, did I give you the library one? Oh, it's in the ones I just printed that I think I 3-hole punched for you.
244, 267.
Right, because when the library presents their backup, they do it, it's almost in the opposite way, the math. So they have the full operating budget, which I originally picked up on, and then they have the anticipated revenue, but the first column is what they actually want the town to fund. So they're only asking for 52,000, not 69. And the way it came to light was Dennis came in today, and
I don't have the,
you have the library in that one you just flipped through.
I have the library here, but,
Yeah.
but what's,
Oh, so
Go
this was from last week what they would have given you for backup. So I don't know if you put it in your book or what you do with it, but you can take that one.
well, if it's in my book.
I don't know. I haven't been here, so I haven't updated your books, but
Okay.
well, you would have had that, and you probably have it already because you have last week's
So, yeah.
stuff still. So I originally put their full operating budget, but really what the town votes on is less their anticipated revenue, so it should really be the 52,975
Plus their wages,
plus the wages.
right?
So you had originally approved last week or 2 weeks ago 261,067, and what their request is 244,267.
267.
Right, 267.
So we're going down because of the anticipated revenues,
Right.
So
which was in the wrong column, or
It wasn't.
I picked it up. I picked it up incorrectly and I put it on your sheets incorrectly, and
okay, that's
yeah.
fine.
So when Dennis asked me, does he have to go to the budget committee? I said, well, I think so, because it's really a big jump. He's like, no, it's a very small jump.
Yeah, well,
So,
it's
yeah.
better to catch it now. So
It's probably in that pile, Dave.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I saw it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to reconsider.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So do we need to vote on the amount?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the 25 library budget of $244,267.
Motion's been made,
I'll second the motion.
seconded. Any further discussion? Just the fact that town administrator picked up on an error, corrected it, and we're correcting the amount. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. The budget committee will be happy.
And tabling other conservation, why did we get a conservation budget in this packet?
That's everything that you worked on when I wasn't here. So that has the budget, the Board of Selectmen approval. So I don't,
Well, we approved $21,000 for the Conservation Commission. Was there any changes that you?
no, it's just an update for your book showing that you approved it.
Yeah.
I would have put it in your book, but
I didn't know.
I'm not with it yet.
What do we have planning board and ZBA?
Because you approved those as well.
Oh, these are,
Those are the ones you've approved.
you want me to put these in the book?
If that's how you like to keep your book. I like to know you approve this on this date. So I normally go through your book and approve them, so if you just put them near the front, I'll take care of your books maybe Thursday.
And we're tabling this. I'm gonna keep this in the green folder then.
Okay.
Sorry, which one? That was the milk well?
Yeah, the other
Yeah, the
conservation.
other conservation,
Yeah.
4619. Right, 2 copies. All right, solid waste.
I don't know a lot about how he built his budget. He asked if he could come in beginning of next week, so that's why I asked about having a meeting next week to go over it with him. All of his salary lines are the 3.3% COLA, and
Except for his, which is a $3 increase over last year, right?
I think the
So we didn't
percentage
put in
came
for
out
your
on it.
steps?
No,
He 2024 budget was 61,908.
Right.
His presented budget for 2025 is 61,911. That's a difference of $3.
okay.
Something's awry.
Which I'm fine with, but he might not.
Well, is it?
I wonder if I
Did we
made a
Did we lose some money?
I wonder if I made a transcription error. I'll verify that, because when I did the math, it was 3.3%. He put himself in just for cost of living. So that might be a transcription error, although I thought I tied.
That's not right. And
Yeah,
908 to 911.
currently, in solid waste, my theory is he's gonna run a $54,000 surplus, which is 10% of his budget. So I don't know why we have I know that it only shows $12,000 worth of increase, but some of these lines don't make any sense at all to me. Like, vehicle maintenance, he's only spent $1,665, so maybe he'll fix his backhoe finally. Miscellaneous, which is a category that no one enjoys, he's only spent $965, but he wants $1,500. His MSW disposal, he spent $103,000, he's looking for $141,000, which is a $7,000 increase.
And still has 6 weeks to go.
Yeah, but even, I mean, your MSW currently,
Yeah, so we don't have any November and December bills.
not any November?
I don't think so.
Okay.
80%?
Well,
No.
at the end of October, it'll be, what are we at the end of October?
It's 10, 12.
Yeah, so,
62%, 82%.
So if all you've got is through October, is that what you're saying?
yes,
Okay, then he's running $10,000 a month. So he's got another 20 grand he's gonna spend, so he'll be 10 grand under on his MSW. And he wants and we gotta fix this, cause it's driving me freaking crazy.
okay.
He wants a $7,000 increase. Justify it. He's way over on his hazardous waste, but he's only going up $200. He's already spent $5,500 on this year.
That's
So
good.
it
Probably,
doesn't-
isn't that because we hosted? Is that because we hosted?
No, we haven't hosted yet.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we did.
Hosted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's,
Do that in September.
I wasn't supposed to cost us anything, but I guess it did.
It's not necessarily a justification of, that's,
Yeah. Retired freons of $18, and he wants it to stay at 2,500. Tires free on metal. He's at 5,000 on brush and stone grinding, he wants to go to 10. So there's a lot of information here that needs to get satisfied. Cause once you push him up to, was it 3.3%? Is that the COLA?
Yeah,
So that's gonna add another $3 grand to that line.
Should we
But if we,
763, 765.
so that puts me at 565. And I don't think his maintenance line's right. How long will it take to make this sheet match this sheet?
not long, either
Okay.
tomorrow or afternoon or Thursday.
Okay. And we're meeting.
That's something you can hand off. You don't have to do that. You can hand that off to somebody, right?
Yeah,
Budget is meeting next Tuesday.
no, they're not meeting till the 4th,
Oh, okay, so we have.
so
if we-
next
If we have an
week,
executive session sometime between now and Monday or Tuesday, we can do this budget. If Chris can get.
yeah, that's
Chris
what he
can be
asked,
here.
for. He asked for next week. And so what do your Mondays and Tuesdays look like?
Well, I'd like to go in on Monday morning. I mean, I could
That's
come in.
a
I could come in.
question mark.
I could come in at noontime, 1 o'clock on Monday.
yeah, whatever's good for you, Bob, and then we don't know what's gonna happen with this guy.
Right, I know,
Yeah, it's
So,
I
too
know.
much of a wild card. Just put it in there and
I know.
it'll be what it's gonna be.
so,
But if it's a typical workday, can you do a lunchtime?
I'm off right now
Okay,
yeah.
for
All right.
probably
There's
the rest of
nothing
the six.
typical about
the rest
his
of the
life.
year.
So maybe what you can do is, if you'd like, go through the numbers. If you feel as though you aren't gonna be able to make Monday, go through the numbers that you've been given here, and just email us if you've got a concern on a line.
Yeah.
You've got the,
Just make notes.
Questions and opinions,
yeah, just,
okay.
cause it,
and we'll take those into consideration
yeah,
if you're not gonna be here.
Yeah.
I mean, we may all have the same thing, but, you know.
Right.
I don't want you getting to the, not be able to weigh in on it.
Yep.
Wanna do noontime on Monday? Or is
Sure.
that lunchtime? When do you guys eat lunch?
Noon
We
o'clock.
don't really.
Okay.
Alright, 12 o'clock, Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we covering?
Good, checkmate.
Just,
Obviously this, but
hopefully we can get the.
Yeah, well, hopefully I can get Bill Markison to come in then, and get
So
the
no
other,
problem.
yeah, get that out of the way. Solid waste, and I may have a couple more ready for you, I'm not sure. I
smaller pieces, I assume. Then you.
I have, the health insurance, the employee benefits, so I did get a quote from another company, and I'm still waiting for, Health Trust to get me the short-term disability that we had talked about.
Yep, yep.
And the municipal buildings, that might not be too bad. And then there's the finance, and Lakes Region Computer called me when I was out. I haven't called them back. So I think those are the ones that are still outstanding.
Alright, can we move to 4196 insurance? Get that out of the way.
You already approved that last week. It's all approved.
Okay, we approved that, so we don't have to do anything.
No. So if you have that summary page, that's, yeah. Can I see yours for a second?
Sure.
11-1 run, or are we working
I'm working up.
11:18.
11-18.
Yeah.
Do you have 1118?
I must. somewhere.
Yeah, he does in his
Should be
packet.
in the green folder.
Yeah, yeah. Again,
So
got here late, so.
we have finance admin still, we have personnel administration, we have municipal buildings, solid waste, Parks and Rec will be next meeting, they're meeting right now. The library will be updated, and then other conservation, so we're almost there. The big ones are the personnel, and then, the finance admin,
And buildings.
yeah.
And Jack's gonna come in on that,
I don't think so.
government buildings.
Yeah, he gave me his number for the townhouse, and then,
Okay.
you know, we'll just put a percentage on the heat and phones.
Okay. So we can get the other conservation to the Marcus's, and the neighbors done,
Yeah,
and just parks it down, so
we're,
we got,
we're in good shape.
yeah. Financial administration.
That's tax collector,
Yeah,
computers.
and we don't have that all together yet,
No, I don't.
are we gonna have it Monday?
Hopefully. It's a goal.
Yeah, well, the time, like, does she be able to give us her?
Oh,
sheet?
she gave me her stuff.
Okay,
I was gonna give it to you all at once.
cause right now, you're running pretty close. Close? Yeah, pretty close. You're not gonna be able, I don't know what kind of increases you're looking at. Yeah.
I've been working on the, culvert FEMA grants, and are we good with budgets?
Yeah, for now,
Okay.
I think so.
All right, so that was a key thing for me to get done, and I work with a woman named Autumn, and I have to put out a public notice for the last couple that we said we're interested in, the Union Wharf Road and the Sodom Road. So you'll see those posted around town. And then I have a draft you can just look at any time and let me know if you have comments, because I can't put it out. What they came back and said is I want to probably do 4 of them, 1 of them for each road, Union Wharf, Canaan, Curtis, and Sodom. And HEB has helped in the whole process, and
Yeah, usually they do this, don't they?
no, not if they're going to be a bidder.
Oh, they're gonna be bitter.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's kept me a little bit busy. The working with Primex on Dennis's car accident, because it's a workers' comp case now. So I've been learning more about that than I want to, and I thought there's a few things that I thought I'd send a reminder to employees. You know, if you're in an accident, report it right away. You know, a couple of professional things that have come across my desk about using profanities in the workspace.
I
And
did tonight, didn't
No, that was before we came
Oh.
on.
That's before the camera went on.
so
Some of these things we should be talking about in non-public.
yeah, but just I'm going to send a reminder to employees to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we have a personnel policy. Here are some things in it that I want to remind you about
Yeah, if you have a workplace related incident, it must be reported immediately.
immediately. So,
And that's not just an us rule, that's a Department of Labor rule.
right, yeah. So I actually took the call from Primex when I was on vacation, and she said it has to be reported immediately. You can get big fines from the Department of Labor. So Primex put the claim in for me,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I came in, I corrected it and worked with her and got her the police report and multiple things. So I put together a draft 2025 calendar, and what I did was in the red squares, I put what you approved for the transfer station holidays. And what this does is it means that the transfer station is going to be closed like 6 Sundays next year,
Right.
which the transfer station employees are good with that, as is the transfer station supervisor, because right now this year they have been getting paid for a Monday holiday. So instead of their 35 hours, they're getting like 43 3/4 hours. So the payroll will be down a little. However, the transfer station will be closed more.
Right.
Historically, anytime that they've been closed on a holiday, they've been open the day after.
So the payroll then would still be up because, well, it's a Monday holiday. So like if we look at, I don't remember, is President's Day,
But
yeah.
since the transfer station's open on Tuesdays, it doesn't really make sense to have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean a Monday,
Right.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Excuse me.
They're not open on Monday though.
I know. I'm saying that
Oh, I see.
historically,
They would open.
yeah, the day after a holiday. But since it's recycling centers open on transfer stations open on Tuesday, it really doesn't make a lot of sense.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
And all of these holidays are on Monday,
Yeah, so to
Except
give
for
the
Christmas.
employees a holiday,
Mm-hmm.
right?
they get the Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, last year I didn't do that. I wasn't aware. And I didn't do it in my first draft this year. So they end up getting paid.
Right.
So you're swapping out the Monday holiday for the Sunday.
Well, that's what happened while I was gone, and I just wanted you to see a visual of what it
And
looked
they're
like.
okay with this? Cause it's gonna be
Chris?
less.
The townspeople are the ones that are not gonna be.
Right,
okay
it's
with
gonna
it.
be the public that's not okay with it.
Nope.
So if they are up here for a weekend and they're leaving, so it might be something we wanna talk to Chris about when he's here.
I mean, I understand who made this calendar up.
I did.
I understand what you're trying to do, but I can see a lot of pushback coming.
Well, Cammy presented it to you at the school meeting on November 5th
Mm.
because that wasn't my original calendar that I had done. And she said, no, it was always like this. They got the Sunday off. So I could go back a couple years and see if that's true.
Yeah, why don't you?
So all of the the red squares are the transfer station holidays.
Right.
So the 26th of December is one of their holidays,
The day after Christmas. So
but the 28th of November is not.
correct, because they get Easter instead
I'm not-
in April.
April 20th.
So
Alright.
other employees do not get that day.
Easter?
Yeah.
Well, it's Sunday,
Right. Exactly.
so why would you get it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why would they get the 28th? Because transfer station's closed anyway.
Okay.
But
Why
they
is it
have,
in red?
because they have Easter
Because
on
I
their
get it
holiday.
off. Yeah.
Because they have it on their holiday calendar.
So
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 holidays, right?
Hmm. Yep. Correct.
Okay. Alright. And
So I needed to see it visually and let you think about it. And then we can talk to Chris about
Yeah,
it.
my only concern is about the amount of Sundays that they're closed, getting pushback from the townspeople.
Yeah, especially.
Well, somewhat fortunately is a bunch of those don't fall in the summer when you
Mhm.
have even more people here. Memorial Day is probably the biggest one.
Right. Memorial and Labor. Mm,
Yeah.
But June and July were clear,
yeah.
so
Yeah, that's a good point. What's August 31st?
is Labor Day on the first this year?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Is that Labor Day? August
Yeah,
31st?
yeah.
For them?
no, the first. of
The first
September.
for
September first,
right.
September
September 1st for
so the 31st is
Yeah.
the holiday, is the celebrated, I guess.
For them.
for them.
Yes, yeah.
But that's a big weekend.
Sure is.
And if people, closing up and stuff. So I had the same opinion. Memorial Day and Labor Day are the big ones.
Okay.
I'm more okay with Memorial Day than I am
And
Labor Day.
November 11th is Patriots Day or Veterans Day?
Veterans.
Day. Which, it's a Tuesday. That's, of all the ones on here, that's the most swallowable.
No, I was wondering if you could move,
Digestible.
move,
Digestible, thank you.
move the 2 Sundays that aren't swallowable. August 31st and what was the other one?
May 25th.
May 25th, if you could move those to the Tuesday following.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I mean, that would, I think, solve the problem.
Those are two critical days.
Or what we're doing this year is we're paying them for the Monday holiday. So, they could, if they work that day, get double time. Or get their holiday.
I'd rather
On
have it
Monday.
closed, to be perfectly honest, but.
Yeah,
And
If you close it on a Tuesday, that's not a big deal.
and what I told Cammy is we just have to get it out there in the public.
Closing it on a Tuesday is not a big deal, but closing
You
it on those 2 Sundays, that's a big deal.
Having a sandwich board saying it's going to be closed, getting it on the
And
website and
you
on
don't need
Facebook.
drive it into the overtime rate either, so, I mean, double time just pushes the whole weekly payroll into an overtime setting, I think.
Well, because it's a holiday pay and they don't do more than 40, it's straight time. But
Yeah,
but
be worth the work.
I'd still rather have them have the day off than
so it's
personally.
yeah. I just wanted you to see it because the public might, they're not gonna be
Public,
happy.
we don't care about the public.
What the heck?
There goes your next election.
They can vote me out, honestly.
Those are my 2 days. I'm with Dave.
Okay, you can keep it in your green folder.
Yeah, the 25, the May 25th and August 31st.
Just to, yeah, let's,
Those are
I
gonna be a
don't know that
problem.
we can vote on it until we talk to them, but I think.
Yeah, we can talk to Chris again.
Yeah.
but-
We'll
Mm,
have to talk to
Well, we're
Chris.
talking to them next week anyway,
Yeah.
so that can be a,
Yep.
an item.
Let's stick that in the folder then.
We received another 16,000 from FEMA. I'm not exactly sure what it's from, and I was thinking we had already received 57,000, and that's for the spring of 2024.
Right. And there was another
So,
53,000,
I
I thought.
posed a question to our auditors. Should that 57,000, if it's all related to the highway department, should that come out of the operating budget so he isn't so extremely over because we've been reimbursed for those costs?
And what did they say?
I haven't heard back yet.
Yeah, they'll say no.
Why?
I would say no as well.
Why?
Because all you're doing is altering numbers on the operating budget. It isn't in the hole right now. If we were in a red, I'd say, well, maybe we'll talk about it, but we're not.
So do we then have to, do we take that 57,000 from FEMA and accept it as unanticipated revenue?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is unanticipated,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
And what about the 100,000 on the wharf? How are we doing on that?
I don't know, I posed that question to Autumn today. She's also working on the culvert, that's her name, yeah.
100,000.
For the grant reimbursement for the
Oh,
wharf,
right.
yeah,
Right. And it's, I mean, I'm looking at the undesignated fund balance at 800 and something thousand, and we need to
yeah,
push that.
get
up a
every
little bit.
penny we can.
Mhm.
So the 23 audit is just about wrapped up. Legal's doing their letter. I don't think we've had any proceeds from bonds, big tax write-offs, impairment of capital assets, or lawsuits. So I'm gonna tell them no on those.
Knock on wood.
Okay.
So you're getting another insurance quote? or
For
you
health
have it?
insurance, I have it. It came in when I was gone.
Okay,
Okay. So,
all right, and we haven't, in the last 5 years, I think at least, put the auditor's position out on the street, so we need to talk about that for next year as well.
I think they're covered for one more year.
Are they?
I don't know.
Well, you'll know by Monday.
Yes. I did look that up at one point.
Yeah.
You don't remember?
So in the last meeting, if I'm not there, I don't always know what happens, even though I tried to listen to that awful thing at the school. So we have the quote for headwaters for Lake Road and his estimated construction. Were these just for warrant articles? We're not gonna have him move forward with anything?
What do you mean move
Well-
forward with anything?
How much was his cost?
It varied a little bit, but let's see. His cost was $42,000, 42 to 50, depending.
For both or one?
No, for one. That is only Lake Road. And the other one was really similar. So are you building his cost into the construction in a warrant article?
I think that's the preferred
Okay,
route.
except, and were you there at the last budget meeting?
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain amount of money we have to spend before we can write a warrant.
I know, but that's a known number. That's if we,
Yeah,
that's if we move forward with the project,
Right.
that covers that engineering involved.
Right.
the number that you're talking about, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, is just to get to that point. We don't know what those numbers are gonna be. Those numbers, I think we just put in the legal line, but if we have, not legal, but,
Other docks and bridges.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So we got 10 grand going in
Yeah.
there that we approved. I don't know what the budget committee will do.
We'll get
So
repetitive.
I was just hoping that would cover most of what town would have to do.
Okay. And did you request a quote from all states? Okay, so
Yes.
we have that. I'm not quite sure what you were thinking. Guess that's part of the warrant article discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I had asked Jack today, should we sign a contract with True Green, because being an environmental person, I freaked out over the amount of
Chemicals.
yes,
Yeah.
but
Well,
he's
even the dead people did.
yeah.
They were screaming.
Yeah, so it's 4,000 to keep the lawn the way it looks with True Green. And I'll put that into my building budget. If we want them to
I don't know, I mean,
fungicide 3
a
times.
year ago, that lawn was in rough shape. It looks good now. But on the other hand, do we have to keep doing that every year?
I think a more important number to look at is the mowing bill. 'Cause
Okay.
I think that's gotta go out there to bid. I mean, it's gone crazy. If you look at do I have my budget in front of me? I used to.
Yeah.
Here it is. So. Town office maintenance, $2,500.
Give me a number.
I'm sorry, $41.94. Grounds maintenance is what we should do. So we'll just add them all up. How about that? 10,500 for grounds maintenance for the town office. Outside maintenance for town house is 2,000. Outside maintenance for the library is 5,000. $19 mowing and electric, so I'm gonna say it's probably 1,500. Get the electric, some of it.
Davis Field.
Outside maintenance for the transfer station is 3,900. Davis Field is mowing is $7,000, and other property maintenance improvement, central fire department maintenance. I think there's probably, let's say I'm at $29,900, and let's say there's another $5,000 there. So we're at $35,000 for mowing. I mean, I can, between now and Monday, go through the exercise of looking at 19, 20, 21, or 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 22, 23. But that's gone up significantly. And if that's not counting the $4,000 that Audrey's just talking about.
That probably is in the ground maintenance for the town building.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. $4,000. Was it $4,000 this year?
Probably not quite, but
Yeah.
You remember what happened last time we went out to bid for mowing?
I do, but I'd still like to do it. I mean, I'll certainly listen to arguments, but it just seems like a career for somebody with a lawnmower. It just, it seems a little heavy-handed. And
The other bid that we got, because we only got 2, was so cheap.
yeah,
We didn't see how
they could do it.
they could do it with
Right.
that kind of money. It didn't seem like a responsible bid. So
It
we
just
went.
seems like there's a lot of lawn care guys out there. And
I know.
The
So why did we only get 2 bids then?
well, that was the did it, which was
2 years ago.
2 years ago, right? Just saying,
No, I totally get it.
I,
but-
I don't wanna adjust the budget because of it, but,
Mhm.
I think there's a place that we need to start looking at maybe bidding something out.
Well, then, if we're gonna do that, it should go out soon, because people are planning their next year already.
Yeah.
Do you wanna make that?
I don't wanna confuse the budget that we're creating with a new number. I mean, we know what we have now, we know what we can get it done for next year,
Right.
without going out to bid, and I need to
Right.
leave it alone.
So when do you wanna put it out to bid then?
January, February, somewhere in there. I mean, I don't know, is there like dentists, you can't get a guy to mow your lawn? I mean, I don't know about, how busy are these people? Maybe they're as busy as all the carpenters that don't wanna build a police station.
I know, right? Okay.
Nobody wants to work for the town anyway.
Maybe that's it.
I'm sorry?
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay, I sat in on a call with DES on the Mirror Lake study. CIP, they should have their final report review on December 4th.
And what did DES say? How
Oh,
much
it's-
progress has that made?
Not much, it just is basically kicking off.
It took them all this time just to start?
Yeah.
For the 19 Mile Brook report? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the Mirror
It's the
Lake.
watershed plan
Oh, sorry.
update, yeah. So I sat
So
in,
that $100,000 is just gonna sit there for another year, is that what the plan is?
right. I have the policy from the county for merging vacation and sick time. I'll give you a recommendation on that soon. Working with Chip on warrant articles. I had given you that spreadsheet. I don't know if you went over it last meeting.
I did, actually,
Mm.
and then,
So it sounded like what I could hear on the
budget.
last meeting. No, your last meeting was conservation's going to have another one for studying 19 Mile Brook.
Right,
Mhm.
right, but
So-
they're working on grants to handle a lot of that, or most of it.
Yeah.
actually.
I did put up on the website a public input for a four-way stop on 171 after we had that presentation with I think it was DOT, and I'll put it on Facebook. I try not to do everything right at once, give it a day in between so people see things.
Mhm.
And I had an email set up called public input so it doesn't slam my email. I figured out how to do it. Let's see.
Should we think about putting that in the paper? I mean, I don't know, I don't go to websites, so I don't know how effective websites are.
I could put it in the paper that,
You know, looking for what we can put on a four-way stop at Mountain Road, Durgan /
Well, what are you offering for information?
the presentation.
You've
Mhm.
posted a link, or
Yeah.
I assume it's a link to the
Mhm.
presentation on the state website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, it's on our website, but yeah. Let's
Either
see.
way, it's at their fingertips.
Yeah, short term and long term. Health Trust said it'd be a couple more days. Reconciling the milfoil. I still need to get a couple. The Board of Selectmen approved the procurement and road agent job description based on old policies and descriptions, but those really should be updated, so I have that in a to-do list. Let's see, with LRPC, do we need to advertise for a new volunteer or two to be on LRPC?
We need a representative.
Yeah, because Cammie said they appoint someone, but we need to find them and bring them forward. All right, and then changing our address was just staying on top of it, keeping every website I log in to. Oh, I have to do employment security. Oh, I have to do the IRS. I have to. So all that's still in process. I think that's it for right now. The 16th is going to be a really huge day meeting because Mr. Jeffers wants to come in and go over hazardous waste for next year. And the police department, hopefully we get some responses on that.
When's the deadline?
I think it's the Friday before.
Good.
Yeah.
So, has the collection, the hazardous waste collection happened?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we haven't had a report on it.
No, he was supposed, Dave.
Is it in one of your folders?
So
It is.
Yeah. So we have a report.
we don't have a report from our transfer station director.
No, but
So until he reports to us, we don't need to meet with Mr. Jeffers.
right, that's why I pushed him out.
Yeah.
To when? So
That's right now, December 16th.
Yeah.
And
That feels early.
and then, oh, they're already planning it. And based
Yeah,
on
we're not gonna, okay, just so you can make it known, we're not gonna do it every year. That's not the deal. This is the first time we've done it, but other towns get to do it
It's
too.
here and
and they did.
It's-
Multiple ones did.
it's in the
Not
appointment
this
folder.
year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we were the first one to do it on a weekday.
They had it in what, 5 or 6 different
Yes.
locations?
Yeah.
Around, so we,
Okay, all I know is this is the first time we've done it since I became a selectman. And so until I see how it worked out, I'm not gonna vote for it.
Um,
And I didn't think it was supposed to cost us any money. Just
well,
saying.
everyone,
No, it was, yeah, it was, the only money would have been maybe a porta potty or two.
well, they give
And-
you like $4,000 back.
They
Okay.
gave us money?
Mm-hmm.
And then extra time for the
for the,
attendants to direct traffic and.
Right.
So,
Okay, now why is, let me just, bear with me.
because I don't have money from them yet. I have not seen a check from them.
So hazardous waste, Lakes Region hazardous waste, we're upside down by $1,200. And that's because this didn't come in? Or is it just?
Well, I don't think I can apply it to an expense line. It's going to go into the general fund. Right, the $4,000.
Okay, so is that reflected in this $5,560? There's an expense reflected
Yes.
somewhere in there.
Right.
You have revenue coming in.
That
and-
what's it reflected in there
I had the same question.
is when they um,
Take in the hazardous
each
waste.
town has a share,
Okay,
and then each site that hosts gets a stipend.
right.
So I have not seen that stipend.
Okay, so there's another, okay, you don't have to go any further than that. You need to ask Chris Rule why we are $1,260 upside down.
What's the number in there?
He budgeted 4,300.
Yeah,
We paid 5,560.
And that's what they charged us. And
So-
next year they're charging us $58.38.
so.
Yeah, so why are we budgeting 4,300 for next year?
Last year, they.
We shouldn't be.
Right, last year they billed us, and this is not reflective of that, so another item that Mr. will have to look at. And then
Okay.
The $4,200 goes into
And
this revenue.
yeah,
Yeah, he upped his budget to 45.
right. And it should
15.
be 58 based on that.
Yeah, it should be,
Right.
Right,
Okay.
and if we look
this
at
his
that,
actual was.
it was probably over 5,000 last year,
Right.
so, okay.
That's all I have. Do you have any questions?
No. What do you want us to do with this?
Just review it, see if you see typos, if you have questions about it. And we're not putting services in there, we're not hiring someone to.
No, it's a request for qualifications.
Right, just
I
quals.
get it.
Just tell us you're great.
Mm-hmm. Can you do the job?
Right.
So I have one other thing that went through my head and I forgot it. But,
Well, the question that I had, maybe the same one as you, is where are we on the PlayStation bids?
December 16th.
Do we have any?
No,
Did it-
I'm
has
asking-
it-
Oh, we haven't received any.
Emerson?
No, but that's typical.
No.
Yeah. So
Yeah. They
sometimes.
usually start showing up the last week,
Oh, that
sometimes
was-
the last
okay.
day.
can, by Monday, make a note to tell us how much, pilot money we've received? Because I'm gonna start making noise about that.
Okay.
And,
When I left, it was still just at 4,400.
right,
Yeah.
and one calculation that I did the other night with the budget committee is, it averages about $14,000 a month.
Inspections, right?
No,
No?
I wanna discontinue Northwoods Road, make it class 6, let them take care of it. You know, if we're running $14,000 a mile, say that's a half a mile, $7,000 a year we're spending on that road. Plowing it, maintaining it, and getting nothing. We get no real estate taxes out of them. It's just something I'm gonna bring up.
Are there any residents down there? Or is that strictly,
There
Camp-
may be a
camper.
camp resident down there, I don't know, Belknap's got 3 or 4 houses, maybe Northwood's got one. But they don't pay real estate taxes on those residences. So,
no, I mean,
oh, beyond that,
yeah,
I don't think there are, but I'll double check with our tax collector before I spout off about it, but, you know, I mean, it's just, I find it unconscionable that they don't do anything for the town, so. Even Belknap tries, and they're hard to deal with sometimes, but there's no reason why Boston YMCA can't participate in the local
Mhm.
government. One thing I wanna get done before I die. It's not that I don't like camps.
okay. You good?
I'm good.
Are we having a non-public tonight?
Yes. It'll be
Should be
brief.
short.
You have to do your updates first.
Selectmen's update?
I think I've clued you in on everything I've been doing. If I missed anything,
It'll come out.
it'll pop
It'll
on
come out eventually. Dave? No. I started to attend a Conservation Commission meeting last night. I was only there for 15 minutes. I got called out, had to take care of a plumbing emergency at the county. So, I have nothing to report from Conservation Commission,
There we go.
other than the hunting thing at the Chandler property. That's it. I was there for that.
So we're gonna have an executive session on Monday.
Yep, 12 o'clock,
How long can you spend?
the afternoon.
Okay, so why don't we have a little chat about the Budget Committee's position on warrant articles and what our collective opinion is of warrant articles, where should we be going?
Okay.
Cause I guess I do have a report. I did have, Audrey do a spreadsheet on the, tax increases and, budget surpluses for I think it was an 8-year period we did, which shows you what the actual line of growth is on the local level and then on the total tax rate for the town. And it's pretty informative, just so you can kind of see a trend, but it also will illustrate where we need to be from the standpoint of the Board of Selectmen with regard to warrants and that sort of thing. I did share all that information with all of the Budget Committee members. I mean, and it does track is it the 424? Is that the form?
434.
434. Does track the fund balance and percentage. So they have all that information. And the budget surpluses, I haven't really looked at that, but I'll look at that before we meet on Monday. But they haven't been enormous, but they've been consistent. So hopefully it's
Well, consistent's good.
informative for them, but
Mhm.
it'll also bring you up to speed on what's actually happened over the last 8 years. And that, I guess, is my report.
Okay. I look forward to seeing the spreadsheet. It's not always exciting to see spreadsheets, but you know.
Well, it's a pretty simple spreadsheet, so.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be fancy.
Yep. All right. Any other business that we need to discuss tonight?
Can you actually adjourn from last time's meeting? Remember the minutes you guys wanted to
Yeah, I meant to do that at the
recess?
beginning of the
I
meeting.
know, I forgot as well.
Yeah.
We just have to state that it was closed,
Yeah,
not
make that a
recessed.
formality.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to discuss the transfer station stickers.
Oh, yes.
Stickers. So, all right, first, get that out of the way. The November 5th meeting, we recessed. We did not adjourn.
Oh, we need to adjourn?
We need to adjourn. Should have done that at the beginning of the meeting. I apologize. Totally spaced it.
And what-
So I'll make a motion to adjourn from our November 5th Selectmen's meeting.
I'll second because I was there.
Yeah.
I abstain.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Jesus.
I forgot all about it.
Me
Does
too.
it ever end?
Me too. So it's official, we've adjourned. The transfer station stickers. You wanna have that discussion
Sure.
tonight?
It's up
Or
to
do
you
we wanna
guys.
do that in executive?
It's up to you guys.
Let's
All
do it Monday.
You gonna do it Monday?
Yeah, cause I'd like to, I mean, one, I can't stay out that late.
He's gonna rock and roll.
Yeah.
But, I'd like to know what the revenue impact is.
About $3,000.
Is it about $3,000?
$3,500, yeah.
And that's everybody?
Did Cammie's number include the numbers from Chris? Or did she just take them off of her report? She gave you a handwritten
I
thing.
know, it's in here somewhere.
Yeah,
Can we get a little closer?
okay, I'll,
Cause we're gonna have to adjust our revenue
Yeah,
projections.
yeah. And I think that can be made up in C&D.
especially if you have a scale.
Yeah, so, yeah, let's cut 3,000 and spend 170, that makes sense.
Oh, come on, it's not that much.
Total revenue from transfer station stickers.
I'm sorry?
Total revenue from transfer station stickers, January 2023 to present, is $2,211.
I do believe that might only be through this office though, not through the transfer
Okay.
station.
Total cost of stickers from wherever we purchased them from is just over $1,058.
Yeah. which is what-
So those two numbers together, you're about $3,300.
I thought we were tabling this until Monday.
Well, just get some food for
For
thought.
info.
Food for thought.
For info.
Yeah. I mean,
But if you wanna correct that number,
I'll verify that number.
yeah, I don't.
To be discussed.
I sent out an email. I have a proposal for that, for the transfer station stickers.
Yeah, but you got into the operational weeds. So I would like to have Jackie and Jen, and Cammie and I all talk about how to track it, come up with a method,
Okay, well, I've been talking about this for over a year.
right? But I don't think a spreadsheet will work. You know, we can't. I don't want to train transfer station guys how to use Excel.
Okay.
But I have.
Maybe you don't get a sticker unless you're a voter.
No.
Just throw that-
Stop it.
All right, sorry.
Monday.
Monday.
So I will meet with them.
It's Tuesday. Oh, Monday's coming, yeah.
Yes, coming Monday, we're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had that proposal, and yes, it got into the weeds. We can, but I think, and I've already given you guys copies of my letter. If you need me to send them to you again, I will.
No, just.
Transfer
bring it on
station.
Monday.
Sticker
I
proposal.
mean, this is a discussion I had, I don't know, back when I was the selectman the first time, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not averse to it at all. It just never got past 2 weeks at that particular juncture.
Okay.
But it is just handling the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the $2,000 we'll find somewhere else, but it's making sure that people that need a sticker get a sticker, or
Mhm.
we're utilizing the sticker as a device.
Yes. Good discussion to have on Monday. But
Okay.
thank you. I'm planting the seed tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to have this discussion before this budget gets passed.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that takes care of other business. Then I want to make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A:3, 2C. Want me to read that out?
No, you don't have to read it. Reputation.
Okay.
I'll
Murray?
second.
Second. Murray, yes.
Duffin, yes?
I'll be yes. I'm sorry?
Make
Do
a
it again.
motion.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
No, come out of
Come out of
non-public.
non-public.
Come on, non-public.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We don't get to recess anymore.
Okay.
for